Thank you all for joining us here at Next TV. From the last 70 years, Pakistan has been an important part of US foreign policies. Cold War, Russian invasion of Afghanistan, Taliban time, post 9/11 war on terror, Pakistan was a close ally. However, President Obama's Trump administration had laid a foundation to distance itself from Pakistan, and now Trump administration is working on building something concrete on that foundation. We are going to talk about US foreign policies, Pakistan relationship with US, and ambassador's roles in the United States, as well as Pakistani American community's importance to participate in the local US politics, as well as civic engagements here in the United States. We are delighted to have the presence of foreign policy guru, senior diplomat, face of Pakistan in Washington, His Excellency Ambassador Aizaz Choudhry. Thank you very much for joining us here today at Next TV.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There is always ups and downs in Pakistan-US relationships. And if we gauge into 1 to 10, 1 is the most worst, what do you think, where we stand today?
Well, Pakistan and United States, as you rightly mentioned in your own intro, go back in time. For the past 7 decades, we have worked together. You rightly mentioned 50s and 60s when there was a major challenge to the world democratic order. In the 80s, when Afghanistan faced an invasion, and in the post 9/11 world, I think Pakistan and United States have worked for bringing peace and stability into this world. And therefore, there is every reason for these two countries to stay engaged. This is one. Second, the relationship is not just a security relationship. It has always been a broad-based relationship. Sometimes the focus is not paid that much to the whole range of areas in which cooperation is already happening, from education to health to IT to commerce and trade. There are scores of areas in which cooperation is going on all the time. Why? Because there is a deep-rooted link between the people of Pakistan and people of the United States. And therefore, I would say that this relationship is important to both and should remain an important focus for both countries.
So in most recently, we have seen Trump administration is completely ignoring Pakistan. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif visit of Islamic summit in Saudi Arabia, and he could not even get 5 minutes in the summit, the whole summit. Do you think it is a failure of diplomacy or changing the priority on the United States side?
Well, I do not think that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 events determine any particular trend. In this day and age, as always in history, nations and countries pursue their national interests. Pakistan believes that its national interests require good relations with all its neighbors and good relations with major powers such as the United States. We will continue to pursue that line.
And do you still think Pakistan is a close ally with the United States in the front line?
Well, Pakistan is a friend of United States, and Pakistan is a frontline state in defeating the forces of terrorism. I don't think there is any nation which can take as much pride in reversing the tide of terrorism in a region and a time when there is still potent threats coming from these terrorist forces. It is Pakistan which has reversed the tide of terrorism. It is Pakistan which has turned the corner and defeated these forces of terrorism, and you can see it for yourself in the improved law and order in the country, and you are now focusing on much other things, better things, economic development and so on.
I asked about the Trump administrations. There was, from McMaster and their team, there was a word saying we are working with Pakistan and Afghanistan, new policies for Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's almost 4 months. We haven't heard anything about it. Did they get any feedback from you? Did they get anything input from you, or did they give you any input? What is they working on?
We are certainly in touch with the United States government. The National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General McMaster, traveled to Pakistan. Our special envoy, Finance Minister Aizaz Choudhry, also came and met him. I personally also met General McMaster. And we have exchanged views, and we have given our perspective to the US government. It is our duty to share our experience and our practice, our perspective, because no country is more interested in seeing peace in Afghanistan than Pakistan. We have a genuine national interest in seeing Afghanistan stabilize. And you can ask me why is it that we think that we have a genuine interest, and I will tell you why. Because over these 3-4 years that we not only developed a nationwide consensus against terrorism, but we also defeated these forces and created much securer Pakistan, in which investments are now flowing in as we speak. So all these gains that we made in economic and security domains could be at risk if Afghanistan is not stable because of the open, big border. And therefore, we have a genuine interest. Of course, we have an interest in stabilizing Afghanistan also because we want to see the people of Afghanistan, who have suffered enormously, get some relief. But it is also our interest. So therefore, and we believe the United States also has an interest in stabilizing Afghanistan. After all, it's been 15 to 16 years of huge economic and military investment. They would like to bring a logical conclusion to this investment. And therefore, we see that there is a work to be done by Pakistan and United States together, because both have an interest in stabilizing Afghanistan.
You have mentioned McMaster's visit, and we have most recently there is the explosion in Afghanistan, and Afghan intelligence and their government actually accused Pakistan and the Haqqani network at the same time. And then McMaster, when he had a press conference in Kabul, he endorsed their allegations against Pakistan. What is your take on that?
Well, first of all, deeply saddened at the loss of life and property in Kabul, which is yet another grim reminder that our job against the forces of terrorism is not yet done, that we need to work in harmony and together to defeat these evil forces. They are our common enemies. And that is why Pakistan has never engaged in blame game. But at the same time, we did see a statement coming up attributed to NDS on its website, casting the blame on Pakistan within a very short span of time after the incident. And it is amazing how an intelligence agency comes to know about the whole thing within seconds and not yet be able to prevent that. I think Afghanistan government needs to take its responsibility of dealing with the matter in an objective manner, not placing the blame instantly, readily on Pakistan. Pakistan has absolutely no interest in seeing instability in Afghanistan. Yes, there may be other forces who may be interested in destabilizing Afghanistan, but not Pakistan. Pakistan has an interest in stabilizing Afghanistan. So why would we do that? We are already squeezing space on Taliban and the Haqqanis. Why would we do that? Bulk of them have already run away from Pakistan and are in Afghanistan. Their financial base is in Afghanistan. Their recruitment base is in Afghanistan. A sewage removal truck in the same district comes out and explodes. They need to figure out what's going on. They have governance issues. They have corruption issues. They have drug trade issues. They have economic stress issues. They have issues of, Afghan national security forces that need to be focused on, rather than placing the blame for each and everything on Pakistan instantly. I think that's not a healthy trend. That they need to really seriously think hard as to who their friend and who their enemy is. Pakistan is Afghanistan's friend. And if they cannot see it today, they'll see it tomorrow, because time will prove to them. And Pakistan has been their friend all along. 3 million refugees, 37 years, decades of transit trade going through Pakistan. Our interests are intertwined. Our friendship is much stronger. But some elements like this NDS are unfortunately not able to see the facts on ground. And I think my strong recommendation would be that they should see Pakistan in a different light, as a friend. We mean well, and casting these baseless allegations will not help their own situation in Afghanistan.
McMaster's visit in Pakistan. In Washington, it is seen as a message for Pakistan to do more. This is one thing. Second thing is Donald Trump, during the campaign, they have promised that they will bring forces back from Afghanistan and Iraq and elsewhere, where they are not getting money from the countries. So there was a promise from them. So most probably, in coming years, US probably limit their role in Afghanistan. Do you think it will create a vacuum of security and stability in Afghanistan? And Pakistan, probably the role of Pakistan might increase in Afghanistan?
Well, Pakistan regards Afghanistan as an important neighbor in whose stability and in whose peace Pakistan has stakes. Because whenever Afghanistan is unstable, the instability flows through the porous borders into Pakistan. And therefore, we have an interest in seeing that. As regards Pakistan-United States conversations, you talk about do more. I think no country has done more than Pakistan to defeat terrorism. It is for the other countries to also play their part. Pakistan has done the most in our own interests. Today, if Pakistan is securer, it is because our own people, our own leadership made this commitment that we will not allow any terrorists to remain on Pakistan's soil, and will not allow anyone to use our soil to commit terrorism or plan terrorism anywhere. I think it's that kind of commitment that people need to see, which is now being followed through. And you can see that entire tribal areas, beautiful land, beautiful people, they are now gone back to their own, displaced people have gone back to their homes. They are now rebuilding the whole thing. So when you talk to me about do more, I think my message is that no nation has done more than Pakistan, and that must be recognized. And perhaps those experiences can benefit many other situations where people are still grappling with the forces of terrorism.
And there was a report in Senate Select Committee, Intelligence Select Committee, where they have concern with Pakistan's nuclear tactical weapons, and they actually accuse Pakistan for making it worse, the relationship with India and Afghanistan. Those kind of things are actually growing up very rapidly here in Washington. What is your take on that?
Well, I hear all kinds of voices, positive, not so positive, and that happens. That happens for your country, my country, other countries. That's quite normal. So we are not guided only by one or two analyses or one or two reports. The fact of the matter is that Pakistan's nuclear capability is defensive in nature. Its only purpose is to deter aggression against India, from India. Because we have faced 3 wars from India, and therefore we needed this capability to deter that aggression. And ever since, I think that's the long and short of it. We are not into an arms race. We don't see any benefit in an arms race. We are following strictly the credible minimum deterrence. We are following the, every facet of activity to make us a responsible nuclear state. We are a responsible nuclear state. We have worked hard on nuclear safety. 4 decades long power generation experience of Pakistan, not a single incident, alhamdulillah. And if you see nuclear security, Pakistan's assets are safe and secure completely. Today, there is less threat of terrorism. Even when there was more threat of terrorism, Pakistan's assets were completely secure. And we have taken a large number of steps in that. Our command and control is centralized. Our export controls have been aligned with the multilateral export control regimes. I think we have shown to the world that Pakistan is a responsible nuclear state whose only purpose is to ensure our own country's defense
You just mentioned India. So we we are seeing actually new alliance in the region. Pakistan with China and India with America. How it will impact Pakistan?
No, well, I do not see these relationships as zero-sum. I think Pakistan has good relations with China, and Pakistan would like to have equally strong ties with the United States. That's how we look at relationships, because Pakistan means well, and this is how we want to take it further. As far as United States-India relationship, of course, it's their own bilateral relationship, but we have always felt that the United States, being a friend of both countries, should maintain a balanced approach in South Asia. And it should work for peace and stability in South Asia. That is our expectation, because the United States is a friend of both countries and is a global power.
But we have seen obvious America is leaning more towards India. And in Kashmir, for example, there was human rights violation on rise, pellet guns on children and women and making them blind for life, ban on social media. Why Pakistan not able to bring this to the next level, to the international community, and could not engage international community when it comes to Kashmir?
You are right that the atrocities in Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, are relentless, and Indian security forces have unleashed the use of force on ordinary people who are yearning for their right to self-determine their destiny. I think it is their right for which Pakistan, the people of Pakistan, will continue to extend political, diplomatic, and moral support to the people of Kashmir. Indian security forces, which are in large numbers, and there are countless videos which have come out, have unleashed these atrocities on the poor people there. And I think if India thinks that it can suppress the resolve of the Kashmiris by this force, then I think they have forgotten what history has written about these matters. The people of Kashmir have an indigenous struggle for achieving their right to self-determination, and I think the Indians must recognize that ultimately it would be in their own benefit if they honor the wishes of the Kashmiri people. Many of their own countrymen, their politicians, their journalists, many others have gone into Indian occupied Kashmir and given these reports that these atrocities are alienating Kashmiris. And I think this message must reach the whole world. We have to communicated dossiers and information to the international community. And it would be our expectation that both in the United Nations as well as in the United States and elsewhere, they'll take in notice of one kind of atrocities, the use of pellet guns to blind people, to maim people, to kill youngsters in the name of so-called fight against terrorism. I think that itself is a kind of state terrorism that's going on there. So it needs to be, condemned, and India must stop these atrocities.
We have seen since you're here, from till the day you're here, you're trying to engage as much as possible Pakistani American communities. What is the goal? What are you trying to achieve out of this Pakistani American community?
Well, Pakistani American community is the biggest resource that Pakistan has in the United States of America. This community has contributed enormously to this country and are rightly the genuine, strong bridge between Pakistan and the United States. So I think it is in that context that the Pakistani American community assumes pivotal importance in keeping this relationship strong and evergreen. We have seen that the Pakistani American community is now beginning to participate in the political life, particularly the second generation Pakistani Americans who are stepping forward, and I am very pleased to see that, because they need to. There was a country of their heritage, and this is a country by choice that they have made, and therefore they are the ones who can bring the best of these two relationships. So I'm very, very positively sort of optimistic that Pakistani American community will create the most favorable image for Pakistan in the United States, will bring for Pakistan the friends from the United States. I have spoken to the community in New York City, in New Jersey, in Boston, in Los Angeles, in Houston. Wherever I get an opportunity, I go and reach out to them, and I say that you and Pakistani Embassy and all the 4 consulates will work together to spread the good message. And you have seen this brand that we have developed, and that 70 years of friendship between Pakistan and the United States. I think we need to capitalize on that enormous goodwill in which these two countries have worked together and build a future which will bring greater prosperity both to Pakistan and United States.
So it is so important that Pakistani American community should participate. Why Pakistani American are not given voter right?
Well, they will have the vote of rights. They do have, because they are those who are dual nationals, they will have the right of vote in the United States.
They do.
They can do.
In Pakistan.
But in Pakistan, whoever is registered, wherever he is registered as a voter, can go and vote. The question that you are maybe asking me is the postal ballot, because you are voting going to vote.
Yes,
that our election commission needs to work out to make sure that they have a system by which if you or anyone else is registered somewhere else in the constituency, is not going to make a double vote. So they will have to create that system, and I think they are working on that system. That is the state of play.
So while you're ambassador of Pakistan, most of the decisions they are made in Islamabad. How hard it is to implement here in Washington?
Well, we are all the time in touch with Islamabad. Islamabad government is our boss, and they give us instructions on daily basis, and we implement. It is not hard. It is our duty. It is our commitment. And in my case, it is my passion that we work to implement those policies which will bring my country closer to the United States of America.
So most of the time, U.S. embassies everywhere in the world, they work for the best interests of the country, to bring more trade into the country. What is the role of U.S. Embassy, Pakistan Embassy, in regard to trade improvement for Pakistan?
Well, bilateral trade relations with the United States is very important. It is still one of the largest trading partners of Pakistan. There are many areas in which the bilateral trade has continued for years at a stable level. And I think there is need to work more on areas in which Pakistan has more advantage and has not fully exploited that. So our commercial sections are working on that. But more equally important, I would say, is the area of investments from the United States. Because in Pakistan, where the newfound economic reforms and economic agenda, which has been now created in the last couple of years, requires that all countries should come and avail of the opportunities for investments available in Pakistan. And I'm very happy that even United States, many countries including United States, are now availing of those opportunities. They would like to, I think, not left behind in availing of those opportunities. And I'm very positive that not only in trade but also in investment relations, we have a bright future.
In the past, in the Obama administration, there was a ministerial level delegation that was coming to Pakistan, coming here in Washington. And I think there were 3 rounds already done. What is the future of those ministry level?
Well, there was a strategic dialogue which had 6 working groups, and number of meetings had taken place. You are absolutely right. And pursuant to that, a number of visits were also taking place. I understand that the new US government has not yet announced its intention. As soon as they do, they will always find Pakistan a willing partner to work on these ideas.
Thank you very much for your time today. It was a pleasure to have you here in the Next TV. Please do give us your feedback.